Chris Williamson, now former Labour MP. Thanks for joining us. I mean, you are a bit of a fan of modern monetary theory, and you also propose that municipal socialism could be one way of perhaps not going back to the 50s, but going back to that, state intervention and using the state to control capitalism a bit better. Do you think that as an alternative to, a publicly controlled, collectively owned society, is that a way towards it? Is an alternative? Is it a way to save capitalism? How do you square that?
Well, I'm not interested in saving capitalism, but I do disagree with Michael's analysis, or part of Michael's analysis there. I do think it is indeed possible to go back to those halcyon days of the late 40s, 50s and 60s, and indeed the early 1970s. Things went wrong, really, when Dennis Healey went to the International Monetary Fund on a false premise in 1976 and borrowed, I think it was $3.9 billion. And we never needed to do that, and indeed that money was never drawn down, and Healey subsequently admitted that he made a mistake. It was wrong to do that. He said he was badly advised. He acknowledged he made a mistake, but for the wrong reasons. Look, it's easier in many ways to go back to that period than it was back in the 40s, 50s and 60s, because we were part of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which was an agreement that was thrashed out towards the end of the Second World War, where the pound was linked to the dollar and the dollar was kind of linked to gold. But Richard Nixon in 1971 jettisoned the Bretton Woods Agreement, and so the pound sterling has been a floating fiat currency ever since. And so therefore, literally money is no object for the government. Taxes do not fund public expenditure. Taxes are there to generate a value for the currency, obviously, but also and predominantly to control inflation, and also to drive behaviour change in consumer spending, and for example, to deter people from smoking and encourage people to maybe drive environmentally friendly vehicles, etc.